Welcome. This is Lev with the Lev Live Never Alone podcast. Have you experienced heartbreak from a best friend? If you have, then this is the podcast for you. Loneliness has been an epidemic not only in the United States but around the world, and the numbers have increased. According to studies, loneliness have increased over 20% in the last 2 decades. In 1990, it was reported at 3% increase of loneliness. And in 2021, it rose up to 12. And it is estimated that this year, 2026, it could rise up to 20% of an increase in loneliness. Now, this loneliness hits every demographics, every age group, from low-income adults to young adults to adults who live alone, for immigrants, as well as those people that feel marginalized because of their orientation, religious affiliation, and even race. And what is the bottom line to these increases in loneliness? Health issues. According to the Cleveland Clinic, heart disease increases by 29% due to loneliness. Strokes causing high blood pressure and such up by 32%. According to the CDC, 1 in 3 adults feel lonely and 1 in 4 adults lack any social or emotional support. Dementia in older individuals, older adults, rise 50% just because of a factor of loneliness being in their midst. Because loneliness increases depression, anxiety. It weakens the immune system and causes chronic inflammation. In a study by the American Psychological Association by Holt and Lunston, and another study by K.W. Choi, they say that a friend should be one that is a confidant. And that's where we play into the best friend forever break, a heartbreak. Because a friend, to make a difference, should be one that becomes a confidant, one that you could have communication and relationship with. According to these studies, they say that premature death becomes a reality with an increase of 26% for people who have poor friends or no friends at all. And this was done through a meta-analysis of 308,000 people. And they say that this 26% increase in premature death is the same thing as a person who smokes 20 cigarettes per day. Can you imagine that loneliness has that impact? 20 cigarettes a day. Unbelievable. The risk groups are low-income adults, young adults, adults who live alone, immigrants, like I said. It does not discriminate, my friends. That's why we have the Never Alone initiative. And as this channel grows, and as you see the posts on Facebook and other platforms, we're trying to connect and make a safety net for the people that are lonely to find a safe place. And we have great plans up ahead, which we will share with you. I want to share with you an experience that I had when I was 18 with a best friend forever that went sour, and it was a heartbreak, but not because of what you think. This story has a twist that in the next 3 minutes, I'm going to tell you. I had a best friend from kindergarten all the way to high school and starting college. So I was around 18 years old. They weren't of my faith because I lived in a community in South Florida that had diverse families, and we had friends from different backgrounds and different ethnic groups and different religions. So this friend of mine, I was going to pick him up one day, and I would go to his house and be with him and play and watch videos and all these things. And that day, I was going to pick him up. I knock at the door, and when I knock at the door, the mother answers, and the mother tells me, "My son is not here, but come on in. I'm waiting. I was waiting for you." I go, no, I'll wait outside, because I never went inside unless he was there or other family members. But she insisted. It was a hot summer day, and she says, I'll give you some water, and he should be coming soon. So I walk in and I sit down, and one thing led to another, and she got fresh with me. She proposed to me certain inappropriate demands. At that point, we got into a heavy argument. I got out to the threshold of the door. We said some words. She said that she was going to go ahead and say that I was the culprit, that I was the one who brought this situation upon myself, and that she was going to go ahead and tell her husband and everyone else about it. I got strength from within, from the Creator, and I said, no, you're not going to do that. You're lying, because you know that you're the one who set me up by allowing me to come in and telling me that my friend was going to be here any moment. I told her, don't you worry. I don't want your son to know the kind of mother that you are. I will come and visit with your son. I will pick him up and we'll go out. But eventually I'm going to slowly die down the relationship until I am no more a part of his life. This was in 1986 maybe, and we're now in 2026. The friendship died. To this day, he cursed me at my face, saying that I was an unfaithful friend after he confided in me things, because I was a life coach even back then. If you really think about it, it's the calling that I have in my life. And I stayed quiet for the decency of him and the love that I had for him not to know what kind of parent that he had. And that is my BFF heartbreak. Not because a friend betrayed me, but because I had to, in his eyes, betray him so that he will not find out what his mother was all about. So the Never Alone Initiative is something dear to my heart. And I ask that you please invite other people to these meetings, these live broadcasts when we have them. Have them come to the Facebook page, to go into YouTube and look at the videos. I have it on Instagram as well, so that we could build a community, that we will not be alone, and we could do life together. But before we leave, I want to express, as a life coach, the first thing that we would do, because we're not psychologists. I'm not a psychologist. I'm a life coach. The first thing I would do with the heartbreak, because you're here because you want to know about what am I going to do with this heartbreak that I have. First, we will validate the grief. We're going to validate it, say it's okay to feel the way you do. And you need to go through that process. And if you need a mental health professional at that time, that is when you need to go to them. But that's what we would do. We will validate their grief or your grief, right? Number two, we'll help you identify the emotion, not by me telling you what you're feeling, but by you telling me what you're feeling, because we will ask you the appropriate questions. And then there's things that you could do to try to unmask those emotions if they're so deep that you cannot even identify it. Through journaling, active dialogue, physical movement is so important, which will get you through those tough days. Number three, I would help you in conversation to make boundaries that are healthy. And then four, we will assess the situation where you are in the healing process. Even though we're not a psychologist, we're just going to have dialogue. How are you feeling? How can we reframe the narrative so that you could be in a better place? And then we practice acceptance. We accept you regardless of the pain that you have or what you're feeling, because we're here for you. We'll try to get you from a blame to what have I learned? But we can't get you to what have you learned from this experience until you haven't healed. And healing could come from a mental health professional. And at the end, we will reconnect into what is your identity and what steps do you want to move forward. Those are the 5 steps that as a life coach, I could help you through. If you're interested, Lev Live, Journey to Purpose. And that will be journey, the number 2, purpose, at gmail.com. And I could tell you more information about that. Share this video. Let other friends know that they're never alone, that they're not the only ones who have a broken heart because of best friends forever. But I will tell you this, there is hope. Look at video 1 and video 2, and you will see that you'll find some answers in those 2 videos as well. I want to thank you. And until next time, remember, you are never alone. Never give up. Never give in. Let us do life together.